Long before the rise of the Empire, there was a sacred world known to the Jedi as Ilum. It was on this planet where younglings took their first steps towards becoming Jedi Knights, guided by the Force to find their very own kyber crystals. Ilum was discovered by the Jedi thousands of years before the fall of the Republic. Hidden deep in the unknown regions, it became one of the Order's most sacred worlds, a place where the Force resonated strongly and where natural forming kyber crystals lay buried beneath the ice. Coordinates to Ilum were not stored in public archives, and only select Jedi Masters, Temple Archivists, and transport crews had knowledge of the hyperspace route required to reach it. The planet's harsh, frozen environment served as a natural deterrent, but the real protection was the silence. No military presence was stationed there, and there were no real defenses installed. The Jedi relied solely on their traditions and their secrecy to ensure that Ilum remained untouched by politics, war, and greed. Over the course of the Star Wars history that we know today, this planet continued to undergo many changes. By the time of the First Order, the world the Jedi once protected was no longer. In its place stood a superweapon capable of extinguishing entire star systems. This is the canon story of how a sacred place of light became a tool of darkness. Ilum made its first on-screen appearance in a Clone Wars episode called The Gathering. In this arc, Master Yoda and Ahsoka Tano escort a group of younglings to the planet to undertake one of the most sacred Jedi rites, aka The Gathering. Each initiate entered the crystal caves of Ilum alone, guided only by the Force, where they were tested not by combat, but by the fear, doubt, and self-discovery. As the sun passed over Ilum, the crystal's cave entrance would seal until the next cycle, leaving anyone who failed to complete the ritual trapped inside. Their goal was to find and claim their individual kyber crystal, a living connection to the Force that would eventually power their first lightsaber. But the true lesson of the Gathering wasn't simply about constructing a weapon. It was about facing oneself. Through this process, younglings learned that the path of the Jedi was not about power or skill, but self-awareness, humility, and trust in the Force. For thousands of years, this tradition worked. Ilum remained one of the few places in the galaxy that the Jedi could truly call their own, until the fall of the Republic. After the execution of Order 66 and the rise of the Empire, Palpatine was able to locate the coordinates of the planet, most likely due to the seizing of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. He began to focus his attention towards Ilum, seeing it not as a sacred ground, but as raw materials for the Empire to mine. Soon after the discovery, massive drilling operations would be installed, tearing deep into the crust of the planet, harvesting its kyber core to fuel the Empire's superweapon. With the Jedi purged and the Republic dissolved, the Empire would desecrate these sacred grounds, turning it into the foundation for something far more sinister. After the Battle of Endor, Ilum remained under Imperial control, but only briefly. With the Empire fractured and retreating into the unknown regions, the planet was abandoned, but not forgotten. In the shadows of galactic chaos, the First Order would emerge from the remnants of what was left of the Empire. In the decades following the Galactic Civil War, the First Order returned to Ilum and resumed the massive terraforming and excavation projects that had begun under the Empire. They expanded the massive trenches carved into the planet and began installing components for a superweapon capable of drawing energy from a star. This weapon would later become known as Starkiller Base. By the time of The Force Awakens, the transformation would have been complete. The Jedi's sacred world at this point would have been hollowed out and fitted with a planet-sized weapon system capable of destroying multiple systems at once. In the end, Ilum didn't fall in battle or fade into legend. It was hollowed out from within and twisted into a weapon of fear, a sacred world erased, not by time, but by greed. Well everyone, that's going to be a wrap on my video about the planet Ilum. If you found this deep dive insightful, consider subscribing. And if you have any topics you want me to cover, just leave it in the comments below. Thank you guys all for listening, and until next time, may the Force be with you, always.